is a test of the emergency broadcast system.
This is only a test.
DJs and MCs. This DJ, he gets down.
Listen to this jockey's introduction to
Two DJs and a mic with your host, DJ Mike.
Is that a timetable?
And DJ JP.
Well, get on it. It's your time.
Give me the mic.
How you guys doing? Welcome to another episode of Two DJs and One Mic. As of right now, I'm in the building by myself, but we are blessed to have Sed Joseph, aka Sed The Saint, in the building. How you doing?
What's up? I'm good. How are y'all doing?
We're doing fine. I'm so glad to have you on the show. And I thank Sean for, introducing us. It's been great, from our first conversation. So it's an honor to finally get you on the show.
Appreciate that. Thank you so much, Mike. I'm very excited to be here with y'all today. I actually remember seeing y'all do a live show at DJX last year. I didn't know who you were, but I just remember walking past y'all. This is really cool to be connected and to be on the show.
Yeah, that's crazy. I hate that we didn't get to meet. There was so much going on, and that was my first time being at that show, and it was one of the best experiences that I had at a show. It's a great show. Love it.
Yeah. Same. It was my first time at DJX show too, and I'm going back again this year.
Yes. We definitely gonna be in the building.
Love it.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about yourself before we get into these questions. Just a general bio of Sed The Saint.
Yeah. So hey everybody, I'm Sed The Saint. I come from New Orleans. Like, I'm originally from New Orleans. I have a family of like jazz musicians and singers and teachers, and so I moved to Atlanta for college, and while I was there, a friend of mine had a pair of turntables just chilling in her room. I'm like, what? So I went to go play around with that. That kind of sparked the bug for me. And then I was also the person that was making, mixed CDs on campus. So I'm dating myself right now a little bit. When I did say CDs. I was the one doing that. So when they had an opportunity to play music at a local fashion show on campus, I took that. So that was my very first gig, and it's been on and popping ever since. Like, I never really stopped DJing ever since then. So I've been here. Been DJing, and I'm also the founder of StageWing, which I'm sure we'll talk about a little bit later. But StageWing came out of a problem that I had as a DJ traveling and trying to source equipment. Matter of fact, a piece of equipment got damaged en route to a destination where I had to DJ a wedding. And so that's how StageWing came about. So I don't know, should I tell more about StageWing or should I hold off?
No, we'll get into it.
Okay, all right.
We'll get into it. So with that said, Sid, tell us, what was it like growing up in a family of jazz musicians, and how did that influence your musical style?
Oh man. So my grandfather, he's the one that kicked it off for us. His name was Frog Joseph. He's a famous New Orleans jazz style, like trombonist. And so you could probably look at some of the videos on YouTube to see him, but a pioneer with music, and especially in the New Orleans scene. I remember going to like various venues to see him play when I was a little girl. And just to see someone like just really, jazz is all about improvisation, just like DJing is. Like, it's about like just being in the moment, connecting with people when you're on stage. And so, I caught on to that early on. And that was always something that I wanted to be able to do, is to create a vibe and to change the feel of a room in an instant. So seeing him, and then also my father, my uncles, my aunts, like truly everybody in my family has touched music in some sort of way. My mother sang in the choir at her corporate job. Like, it was
wow.
Like, the whole family is musically inclined. I mean, but that's New Orleans too. Like, that's the spirit of New Orleans. Like, you can't go like two steps left or right on any street and not hear any music in New Orleans.
So, with that being said, how strongly does that influence flow through your style when you're DJing?
Good question. Come on, Mike, with the questions. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like I think it does. It heavily influences like New Orleans style of music, especially the New Orleans jazz. Like
Mm,
it's a lot of like it's heavily influenced by like the African, West Indian, like syncopated rhythms. Like it's a lot
mm,
of call and response. It's and it's got a bass line to it, like so I think when you hear like mixes that I put together, if you hear me at a show, like I'm you're probably gonna feel some soul in it. You're gonna feel some bass in it, but not bass is like overpowering. But it's got to have a melodic groove line. Like
mm,
that's the thing that I think rules my mixes. And I find that in country, I can find that in hip hop, I can find that in R&B, I can find that in EDM. Like no matter what it is, but like I love when I could take people like in and out because I'm an open format DJ for the most part.
mm,
And so yeah, I mean I think that's it. I mean like and now that I'm a piano is hot, afrobeats are hot too. Like you really get to play a lot with those syncopated rhythms and things like that too. But that's kind of like my style. Like I think and that has influenced me, to be able to kind of jump in and out of genres, but also to still kind of carry a groove that people are like, oh, this so smooth. Like that's what people normally tell me when that spin, like when they come up, like those transitions and the way I just put things together is just really smooth. So I think that's my style a little bit. And it comes from where I grew up.
yeah, that's good. I like that. And I like the fact that you have did the homework in knowing what your style is,
Oh, for sure.
because I think some of us are kind of just aimlessly going to and fro trying to figure out what that is,
Mm,
because we see one thing, oh, I like that, I'm gonna mimic that. Oh,
mm,
we see something else, I like that, oh, I'm gonna mimic that. Instead of just finding, yourself.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, no, I like that. And
Appreciate
do you find it, well, it seems like you don't, but do you find that to be a challenge, you know, when you know that you just being said?
it. You know what? I have, but I'm not in a challenge in a sense of like this is what I'll say. I'll say that I know that I'm a particular type of DJ that puts music together in my own way. And some people may appreciate it and some people may not, and for those who don't, I 100% bless them and I understand it completely. Like there's certain things that I don't particularly like either. So if it's not my taste, like if I don't like, I don't know, vanilla ice cream, then that's just not my style. So
Mm,
um I may be a little more textured when it comes to my style. And so um yeah, there are certain people, like I've had a wedding couple say, once they heard a mix, they're like, I think you might be too more on the percussion side. And I'm just like, that's fine, like I get it.
mm,
I want you to be able to pick the DJ that makes more sense for you and
mm.
that I don't have to feel like I have to water down my style for
Got it.
someone else's taste. So yeah, I mean, I think, people like what they like and it's all good. Like I got my lane.
That's interesting. When I first started DJing back in 1984, uh, forgive me for telling y'all that, it used to be more about beats, because when I first started, it was during that break dance era. You had the
Yes.
Africa Bambatas,
Mhm.
you had the Kraftwerk, and you had all of these different groups, and it was just about
The
the
break.
instrumentals.
That's
We wasn't
right.
playing vocals. When hip
Mhm.
hop came about, that's when we started kind of playing vocals. But I remember learning to transition from that, not necessarily losing my identity, but learning that it was more to music than just that for me,
Mm,
because that's what it was for me at one
mm.
particular time. Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So do you remember your first real DJ gig? What clicked for you in that moment?
Mm. Yeah, so that first gig was truly like on campus. Um, I was DJing a fashion show for
Mm,
a campus organization,
that's
and they asked me to. I know they asked me to play some music. So a fashion show, you don't really have to flex any like true, technical skill, but because you're just playing music for them. I mean, I could have gone beyond that, but that
mm,
was a very good like first gig because I was able to just curate music and not necessarily worry about like transitions and scratching or mic
mm.
gain. Like I don't have to get on the mic or anything like that. It was just mainly just like, these are the songs that are going to go with this particular outfits and this
Yes.
theme and things like that. So I was able to like connect with what was going on in the room and like connect with the styles that were being shown. So that was my first gig. It was a cool gig. I actually went out and bought a little Hercules controller for it. you know,
Hercules, Hercules.
Hercules. That was my first one, and when I say like it was this probably this big, it was that big.
Yes.
Very
It's like a newborn baby.
it
A
was
little
just like a little newborn baby, a little premature baby. So yeah, that was what I had, and I had my school laptop. It was like a HP or something like that, and I made it work.
Wow.
But yeah, that was my very first gig. I'll never forget it, and I enjoyed it. Like I really had a great time doing that event, and I mean, I didn't stop from there. Like we went on from there, and I connected with one of my really good friends at Morehouse College, and he and I just went like ham on like buying gear and stuff like that.
Mm,
After that, yep.
well, fashion shows are fun and different. I did a fashion show once at a community college here,
Mm.
and I had to play, it was well over 60 songs, and the good thing about it, they didn't give me a particular order or anything, but I needed to play those songs and they wanted me to keep it like just exciting. So
Hmm.
it was different because that was the first time that I did a fashion show, but it was fun. I
Yeah,
learned something really, you know, you know, interesting in that situation. Now, if I would have had to do that with vinyl, man, it would have been so hard. I was so grateful that I had a controller because, I put all of the songs in a prepare screen and just,
it's
went
just
at it.
knocking them down. Exactly.
Yes, just went at it.
Yeah.
So that's, oh
And
yeah.
with fashion shows too, you can kind of be really obscure with the songs
Oh
that
yeah.
you do. You don't have to worry about like, is it going to clear out the dance floor or anything like that. So it was really a cool gig to be able to just pick songs based on the theme and the mood and things like that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm just saying it's always interesting.
Yeah.
So I think it's great as a DJ when you get the opportunity to do different type of
Yes.
events
Yep.
versus just, hey, I just do schools or weddings. Having that variety is really good because you learn a lot from that.
For sure.
You
Yeah.
know, you learn a lot from that.
It's true. It is true. And I think you also like it just increases like your palette of music as well. Like
Mm.
because
Oh,
now you're not just like because it can be easy. You can easily get stuck in a framework in terms of
oh
music
yeah.
when you're just doing just weddings or if you're doing just clubs or if you're doing just, whatever it is. But
Yes.
yeah, like it gives you a chance to like actually go outside of the box when you're like your normal framework.
Oh yeah. And I'm gonna ask you this question that me and my co-host talked about.
Yeah.
So looking at it from that standpoint, say a wedding or a club DJ, do you think it's possible that you can be in the same situation
Hmm.
and be tricked into thinking that you're better than what you actually are?
Ooh.
I know it. I know it.
Yes. That's a hard one, but I do think you can feel like, man, I'm crushing it, but it's like that crowd is just tapped in or tuned
Hmm.
Yeah, like just whatever that's gonna be played because they're already in that zone. Like you may not have to work as hard to get
Exactly.
one on your side. So yeah, oh for sure.
Because it's no work in it, and it's like they say, fishing with dynamite. You know, you. There's nothing, no challenge in that.
hmm Oh yeah, for sure, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
So your mixes cover everything, from Afro beats to the oldies. How do you approach blending so many genres into your vibe? I know you have, as you say, coming from the hometown,
Yep.
that has helped you. But do you think it's something else that you've learned along the way that makes that easier for you?
Mm. So I think so coming from my family and watching them perform, and then also taking like a few lessons when I was younger. Like I wanted to learn how to play the piano. I took vocal lessons and also took guitar lessons. Uh,
Mm.
so if you ever see me DJing, go around the DJ booth and you'll see me tapping my foot like this the whole time. And I'm like literally keeping time in my head, but I'm also like my body is physically keeping time. And like you'll see a lot of, I don't know if any new musicians do that, but back in the day, like I remember watching my grandfather like keeping time as he's
Oh
like
yeah, yeah.
doing
I can relate to that because I do it myself.
You do it too?
Oh
Okay.
yes, I
Okay.
know exactly what you're saying.
Okay.
It's, and I tell people it's like a dance. It's a rhythm,
Yes.
and I
Yes.
try to stay in that rhythm.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you're saying.
Okay, yeah. So that's what I'm doing behind the DJ booths. I'm literally like keeping time with my body, like not just
Mhm.
like looking at the screen and seeing like what my BPMs are and where I want to take people, but like I'm physically in it. So, if I want to take them up, take them down, like so when I'm feeling like I want to blend something that may not be at the same BPM, like I know exactly like how I want it to flow and where I want to drop in the track. Sometimes I won't even drop it in on like the beginning. Like I might start it at a bridge, or I might start it at like
Mhm.
something just really hot. So, or start with, now that we have stems, like I love being able to
Oh,
play with stems too.
man.
Like, man,
Uh,
like that is so much fun right now.
yeah,
So
I got married to stems.
it's,
Yeah,
it's, it's something else, right? Like, I mean,
yeah.
this is one of the best inventions we've gotten, the last 10 years, I
Oh,
say for sure.
man.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So, and I know I shouldn't even say the last 10 years because I pretty virtual DJ probably was the first one. They probably had it way before.
Oh, yeah, they did.
Yeah. But yeah, no, like it's been a lot of fun to do that too as well. So like to bring in a particular instrument,
Mhm.
first before you bring in
Oh, yeah.
something
And
else.
and I'm gonna tell you something that I've really have enjoyed with it is, like, say, hmm, think about Michael Jackson, "You Rock My World,"
Mm-hmm.
um, and I'm just thinking of something on the top of my head, and think about Maxwell, not Fortunate. What does that do? I can't think of the name of it.
Ascension?
Yeah, Ascension. You're
Yeah.
with.
I'm
So
with you.
so just think about Ascension playing. And with Michael Jackson, I don't want to bring in the bass line with that because it may be too much. So I'm
Right?
just going to start it with the drum kick,
Yes. Come
with
on.
with an intro and drum kick.
Mhm.
So once I fade out of Ascension, then I'm gonna bring in the melody
Yes. Come on.
on
You
the
already
eight count.
know.
Then on the next eight count, I'm gonna bring in the bass
Mhm.
line.
Yep.
So I like how you can build up and do that as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, man. Are you familiar with like reflex remixes? Like sometimes those
Oh yeah.
those are so like whoever is put, I'm not sure who's put behind that brand, but or like that artist, but whoever's putting that together, I love how they used to like literally bring in just like what you just said. Like they will start with
Mhm.
the drums, and then they'll start with the keys, and then they'll start with then they'll add in the bass line.
Mhm.
Like it's a progression, but it's like an exciting progression. It's the
Oh
song that
yeah.
everybody knows, but You know, it's like, oh, I know this song, but like I can't wait for the beat to come in, vocals to come
And
in.
it's like grabbing you, pulling you.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Oh yeah.
yes, yeah, yeah. You
Yes.
taking them on a ride. You taking
Oh
them on
yes.
a ride.
So the stems though, but
Stems.
it's a great creation. So
It really is.
I'm like you. It was a blessing when I first did it. I was like, oh my God,
Mm-hmm.
So because it's so much more than just having an acapella.
Yes,
You
that's it.
know,
Yep.
you
Or
know.
just the instrumental.
hmm
Mm-hmm.
Now I have stems.
Yeah.
And for those that are musicians, you know that you're recording things on stem. Different sections that you may call stems. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, beautiful thing.
It is.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
Oh yes. So you're the founder, as you said, of StageWing,
Yeah.
to support other DJs. That did that. What sparked that idea, and what's the mission behind it?
Okay. All right. So we're gonna get into it then. We're gonna get
Oh
into the
yeah,
story.
yeah, dive head first.
All right. So back in 2017, two friends of mine hired me to DJ their wedding in Chicago. And I had never been to Chicago. So I was really excited, Mike. Like I was like, yo, like this is my opportunity to get deep dish pizza and to do all the things that I've been wanting to do while I was in Chicago. So they booked me to do that. They said, we're gonna have speakers for you, but you just need to bring whatever else that you need. So I'm like, okay, cool. I got my SX, might have been SX2 at the time, Pioneer controller, and I knew that was larger than a normal like carry-on. So I was gonna check it. I was gonna put it in my hard case inside its own bag, inside its own padded bag, right? In a hard case shelled travel bag. I had my clothes wrapped around it too. So like I'm just trying to give you the picture, like how well I try to make sure that nothing would happen to the equipment as it's getting lugged around, right?
Mm-hmm.
Got to my hotel, went to go do a quick practice set because I was supposed to be also DJing their rehearsal dinner the night before. And I went to go plug it in. Well, before that, I saw that TSA had a note that said, we went through your things. And I'm like, oh, okay. They must have thought it was like some kind of weapon or something like that.
They dropped it.
Matt, I don't know what they did, but the way when I went to go plug in that plug said, it was like hanging, it was dangling like this.
Wow.
So the way that they put it back in the bag or they dropped it or something like that, it was damaged. So anxiety, sweat, all of the things that you would think. Yeah, man. And I'm like, in Chicago, I don't know a single soul in Chicago. So I'm just thinking, like, if I was in Atlanta, where I'm currently based, I got people I can reach out to. I can say, hey, can you let me borrow this? Or can I just toss you some money and rent this from you? Or can you come and bail me out? Like, I didn't have a single soul. So I'm starting to call people from Atlanta to see if they knew someone in Chicago. Fast forward, I'm even checking online to see if I could get something delivered to me, or if I can find a place nearby. Radio Shack had already started going out of business, all of that, man. Like, it was just, I was running into walls left and right. Luckily, I found a mom and pop shop that did have, because we were in Chicago, right? Chicago's a big music city too. But I was thinking after I did that event, like, I don't ever want to go through that stress again. Like, what do I do the next time I have a gig where someone is needing me to travel to DJ? Because that's something that I love to do. I love to travel and I love to DJ. So when I can do both at the same time, it's always like ding ding, like I'm on it.
Trifecta.
Right, exactly. So that's kind of how StageWing came about. Like I came back, I started talking to some DJ friends, and I was finding out that some people were sending their equipment on trains ahead of them. Some people were,
Wow.
it was the interesting way to kind of do like discovery to see like, what are the other ways that people are getting around this issue when they don't know anyone there. So yeah, man, like, I mean, that's where StageWing came about. I was like, if we have a community, the same way that I have one locally in my own home, in my hometown, and then where I'm locally based, like if we have a place where we can have trusted people that we can always rent from, and they can make money on equipment that's not being used, and we can also be sourced with or find the things that we need, like that's how StageWing came about. So we're a platform where DJs can rent equipment from other DJs
Mhm.
or AV professionals that have equipment on our site. And so we built it. We started building it like in 2019, 2018-ish, and then went live with it 2020. And you already know what happened in 2020. So we
Oh,
really
yeah.
didn't get we really didn't get much going on in 2020. But once everyone felt safe enough to come back outside, I'd say by 2022, we started seeing more people jump on the platform. And we've been really grateful and blessed that we've been able to now have people in 13 states that have equipment listed on our site, to be able to have other folks rent from them. And we've been excited to see the growth so far.
And that's great. And I really I applaud you for
Thank you.
doing something like that because, sometimes we come up with solutions that are only meant for us and we
Mm.
don't think about, others that may, have the same issues that we're encountering. So I applaud you for that
Thank
because, just hearing you say, what some of the people were doing, it reminded me of being in an AA room.
you.
Just just imagine DJs around and you're talking to them and asking them about when they ship their equipment and how
Yeah.
they had to send it. I can imagine how, your anxiety just shot through the roof. Because man, just think about every time you plug up something, there's this like, okay, yeah, we're
Yeah.
good.
Right.
So I can imagine, and I remember I did I did a destination wedding in St. Martin,
Mm.
and of course, they got all of the equipment and had it there for me. I spoke with the company that was bringing in equipment, but I brought in my board,
Hmm.
and I brought my little SB1 Pioneer, the
Yeah.
little
Hello.
baby.
Uh-huh.
Yes, but I'm telling you, as I was going through the airport, and I had to go through customs and all of that,
Hmm.
little baby stayed on my side.
He was like, "No, I'm not
Yeah,
cheating
no, it was
up."
my carry-on.
I do not blame you. Not one
Yeah,
little bit. I do not. I do
because
not.
I'm
Yeah.
man,
Yeah.
that is just so much that goes on with that, and it's like no. And for
Hmm.
me at this point, it's like okay, in this order: computer, hard drive, um, or laptop, hard drive, board, speakers, and etc.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I
That
got
computer bag is
the
like that case that you
Holy
see the
Grail.
top secrets. The
Exactly.
people holding the top secret
Yep.
document with the with the
Yep.
handcuffs.
Right.
Don't touch
Exactly.
my bag.
No, that's so true. I mean, the computer is the nucleus, right? So
Oh yes.
if something goes down with that, it's completely got. At least you could laptop DJ, and I didn't want to do that for
Oh man.
my friend.
Yeah.
That was gonna be my next step if I didn't find that shop. But I just, yeah, I feel you. I feel you
Yeah.
though.
And you feel even bad to even think about that laptop DJing. It's like
Exactly.
no,
It's
that's not an
not.
option.
You don't want to do that.
Yeah.
That you got to make the show go on, but you don't want to do that if you don't have to.
Mhm.
Yeah. So no, I mean, thank you for that. But I it's truly like when I was talking to people, and you're right, it was like people just giving me ideas, like I do this and I do that, or I got this, or I got that, or like it just became to be like, nah, this is there's a better way to do it. Like, and because we now live in a world where they call it the sharing economy, but like
Yes.
Airbnbs exist, the Ubers exist, the Turos
Mhm.
exist, like it just made sense. Like, why not? We have like an option or a resource like this when it comes to like sound and lighting or DJ equipment and photo booths or things like that. So, um, yeah, it was kind of like, okay, well, it doesn't exist right now. I guess I'm the one to do it.
Yes, it's on me.
Yep.
So what kind of response have you got from other DJs,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, that have had the opportunity to use the service?
Hmm. So, yeah, it's been a mixed bag so far. Like, there are some DJs who get it and they're 100% on board. Like, and
Mhm.
they're like, yeah, like, this is so dope. Like, I love this concept and it makes sense and they get it off the bat. And then there's some DJs who kind of look at it and like, I'm not sure if I'm, willing to trust something like this. And I get that. I think when someone told me originally that I was going to get into a stranger's car when it came to like Uber and Lyft, like, I'd have been like, nah, I'm good. I don't know about that, like,
Yeah.
so I get it. I think they have to see it and they have to to really be able to understand, like, okay, and then understand like what are the things that are going on behind the scenes to make sure that we have checked all the boxes to make sure that this is a safe and we've done as much as we possibly can to make it a safe transaction and a smooth transition and a smooth option for them. So um yeah, I mean, I get it, and all I say is like just allow us to prove it to you. That's truly
Mm.
what it is.
Well, I think it's a great thing, and I've had the opportunity to, work with you guys on helping, someone out that needed something. So I really appreciated the whole process, and you were very attentive throughout the entire thing.
Thank you.
Um, and it was good. And I think it's a great thing because, man, you know, it feels so good when you can go to another place, city, state, or
Mhm.
country and know that, man, it's there and it's going to be taken care of. And I don't have to try to pay these inflated prices to move something that I'm not sure it's going to be in the same it's going to look the same way it looked when it left home,
When they left home, that's exactly right. That's
you
exactly
know.
that's exactly right. Because I actually paid for that transit to happen, and I still,
Yes.
yeah, you're right.
And that insurance don't mean nothing to us when our equipment don't work
Don't
at the
work
time that it needs to
that we
work.
need it. Exactly. Exactly. And another thing too is like on the flip side of that, like I feel really good that I'm able to put that money in your pocket. Like
Mhm.
that another DJ has been able to find, like, after the pandemic, a lot of DJs who were full time or you know um, who relied on gigs as like supplemental income. It kind of dried up for them, and so I
Mhm.
was happy to be able to, like, instead of, I don't want to say it like this, but there's some nationally known franchises out there that get the money
Oh yeah.
on equipment that they don't take care of, but I know Mike is taking care of his equipment. Like, I know Mike is doing, work out here and he has, reliable stuff. So like why not give that money to Mike instead of this chain or this organization that, is they don't care about me or the equipment. They just want to make sure the transaction happens. So yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, again, applaud you guys, and for those that are listening now and will be listening later, if you in need of rentals in another place, please look up
Thank
stagewing.com.
you. Yes. Come
Yes.
on over. Come on over. And
Yes.
I'll be happy to talk with anyone if you have any questions. Yeah. Are there any like things that make you feel a little weird about it? Like, I can show you what we do to make sure that everything is kind of in its place and we verify everyone who gets on our platform as well too.
Got it.
Yeah.
So you spun at some powerful events like Essence Fest, uh,
Mm.
March for Our Lives. How does those moments feel, for you when you're in that DJ booth? How does that feel?
Hmm. That is a really good one. So those are two different types of events. So like Essence Fest is more so like they bring in you know, a lot of people from everywhere to come out and celebrate like Black womanhood and music. And so I I loved being a part of that. I think I did it for like 4 years in a row for a while. We were with
Mhm.
Ford Motors Company, and we did activations, and I was DJ'd on their stage. Um, it was incredible. Like it was incredible to be back in my hometown too. That was pretty dope.
Mm.
One of the events, I was able to get my dad on stage with me too. So that was our first time like
Wow.
ever performing together. Yeah, so it was really cool. I'll never forget it. So like being able to see a sea of people and playing on stage was really cool. And I think on the flip side with March for Our Lives, um, that was, if anyone doesn't know about it, the it was like a rally for better gun control laws after the school shooting in, I believe that was in Florida. Um, the high school shooting, and so they did a nationwide rally for the families and students who are just saying like, hey, like we are, kind of tired of teen in school shootings in high schools and things like that. And so that was a different type of energy, like to be able to be requested to DJ for people who are, you know, you got emotions are high, whether they're really sad, about like losing a loved one or a friend or, someone in high school, versus, people who are really angry, or people who were just there in solidarity. So being able to like tap into the emotion there and play music, and curate a playlist because, think about it. This is a national and nationwide um, rally, that is about like gun violence. And so having to not play music that doesn't promote gun violence and things like that was
Wow.
important,
That was
and
yes.
peace. So
Yes.
yeah, I think it was really helpful. And I've done a number of other like marches like that, like the Women's March as well too. Um, it was a heavy time, I would say, like around that, um, where just being able to like be in the moment and really tap in with people's emotions and play music that inspires and encourages people, to continue to keep going on and moving forward, but also like, captures the moment.
And in doing that, I have a follow up for you.
Mhm.
In doing that, does that just put you in a different, mode or mood and makes you, kind of reflect and look at things differently? Because it's different than just playing at a party. You know, this is something that has a different feel to it, a different motivation,
Yeah.
and it kind of makes you. Does it make you kind of step back and look at life like, man,
Mm-hmm.
no, that could have been one of my cousins,
Yeah.
or or anything.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. I think in those moments, and I think that's why what we said earlier is like being able to be able to be available to play different types of events. I think that was why I was chosen, because I have experience like doing various types of events and tapping into emotion and or like the under basically understanding the assignment, as people say nowadays.
Hmm.
Like, if you come in and you're DJing, a protest or a rally or even a funeral, like what is going to be your set list? And sometimes I think people just think about party and they don't
Hmm.
think about what's going on in the room. I DJ conferences a lot, and sometimes there are really heavy moments on stage where someone is talking about something like really traumatic, that may have happened. And so you don't want to follow that up with like celebration by Kool and the Gang. Like like you
Hmm.
just really have to like really tap in
Yes,
and pay attention and understand what's going on. And
key
so, yeah,
keyword.
Yeah.
Pay attention.
Pay attention. I mean, as a DJ, that is your job to also always, even if it's a party, to pay attention to what's going on the floor. Like
Mm,
read the
okay.
crowd. You know what I'm saying? Like that
Read.
is that was what a lot of DJs I think need to make sure that they always are doing is paying attention to what's going on in the room and on the floor. So yeah, I
No,
think
no, go ahead.
yeah, no, I think that's truly like where I feel like I do like I connect with people the most is because I'm picking up on nuances. I'm picking up on words that are being said in speeches. I'm not just on my phone, while they're talking, just kind of texting or scrolling through Instagram. I'm literally in it with everyone else, just like if I was in it in a party, like I'm dancing with them, like I'm connecting with people, and so yeah, I'm just pay attention. That's all. That's my biggest takeaway for that.
The good thing about that too, Sid,
Mm-hmm.
is there is so much when it comes to doing luncheons and different events like that there is a lot of spontaneous things that you can do
Yes.
if you pay attention
Yes.
that really has a lasting effect
Yes. Yes.
on the people that you're playing for. And I love being in those situations because it gives me the opportunity, if I'm paying attention, to play some things that I wouldn't normally get a chance to play that fits that situation, whether it's some theme songs or what have you. And I've had several times where someone that's a part of the team that's putting it on would say, I love how attentive you were and how you just paid attention and you were able to just respond. You were spontaneous.
Yes. That's
But if
that's
you
it.
don't, you can't.
You can't. You miss
Um,
opportunities to like really shine
oh
or really
yes,
connect. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
It's job security.
It really is.
Yes.
And it's an easy one.
Oh,
Yeah.
very.
Very easy one. Yeah. Seriously. Yep.
Yep. And I will say this that I think is important for us DJs, and I've never said this, even thought about this. It's not about you.
Mm. Okay. Talk about it. Go ahead. Go ahead, preach.
Well, it's not about you. It's about the people that you're playing for. Don't get so consumed in who you are that you forget about the people that you're playing for.
Yep.
It's not about you. You're trying to help them to have a wonderful experience.
Yes.
You will be seen in that process.
Yes. Yep.
Don't cast a cloud over everybody where nothing else can be seen. And I
Mm-hmm.
just think when you get so consumed in you can't pay attention.
That's it.
You're in
That's
the mirror.
it. Yes. That is
Yeah.
it. That
Yeah.
is it.
You looking down at your J's. You can't get off the J's. But yeah, no, I like that.
Yeah. That's it.
So with what are some of the challenges you
Mm.
faced as being a Black woman and being a DJ? And how have you navigated those?
Oh, Mike, you asking questions that I have never been asked before. These are good.
Uh,
Um,
I'm doing my
you're
job,
doing
Sid.
your job, man. You're doing your job. Oh, so what are the challenges I have faced as a Black woman in the industry? Mm. So I think first
Now,
off, okay, go ahead.
to help with the question, because I think it's fair to say that some people don't even look at it like that. So let's take the color away.
Okay.
What are the challenges you faced as being a woman that's a DJ, and how have you handled or navigated them?
Well, I'll say that as a woman in the industry, when I first started DJing, a lot of times people would be like, I had I was a duo, I was part of a duo for a minute, and they would look at my counterpart as the DJ until they saw that I was actually going to play at some point. So that was one thing. Or usually they'll ask him a question without talking to me. So I've noticed that. And that even happens when he wasn't at gigs with me and I was doing gigs solo. And they would be like, okay, you know, who's here? Like, oh, you the DJ? Like, you get eyebrow raises. Not so much anymore when I show up. I think social media maybe or television, I'm not sure which one, but has made it so that people are now more comfortable seeing a woman DJing, you know,
Okay.
behind the turntables. So, but there's still many times where I get to gig and I get mansplained to a lot about like my equipment or sound setup and things like that, where I'm like, I appreciate it. I've been DJing now for 20 years, so you know, I kind of got it. But and I'm not trying to say that there are things that I don't, that I'm not, that I'm familiar about everything. But there are certain things I'm just like the basic stuff, I got it. So I have faced those types of challenges where people have their own biases that don't necessarily think that I would know what I know about the industry just based on my gender, because I don't see that happening with my male counterparts when I'm in rooms with them. People just assume that they know, you know, about sound and equipment, especially, you know, founding StageWing as well too. So, you know, that aside, those have been some of the things that I've seen as challenges, but I've been able to like, you know, by being who I am, by showing up, by being able to actually engage in conversation, people are, oh, I didn't realize, you know, that I think that helps to navigate through a lot of those.
Okay. That you know, it's it's just it's interesting, you know, that we're still in a time where there's still just, you know, some unease things that take place when it comes to that. And it makes me think that, okay, is it that people have just seen males doing it so long that they're just acting out of habit, or is there a certain prejudice that's really there? Because I
Mm,
think in some people it may not be that, it may be that they're just so accustomed to seeing something a certain way, and that just makes it different.
very well could be the case. And it very well could be like literal biases and
Oh
misogyny.
yes.
Well, yeah, I think, you know, you just never know. You never know. I mean, I think that's also the case in terms of microaggressions, you know, when it comes
Hmm.
to being a Black person in America, too. Sometimes people who don't know and are just ignorant, and then, you know, because they're used to seeing someone else do the particular job, um, or seeing you, you know, in a particular way, versus, you know, them being just blatantly racist. So,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Total difference.
it's totally different. Yeah.
Yes. You know, I had someone taught me years ago and told me, hey, look, there's a difference, you know, when it comes to prejudice and racism. Those are two different words that have two totally different meanings.
Yep.
And he said, we all are prejudiced. We all like or dislike something. He said, but we're not all racist. And you know, and that's a fact.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. That's a lot to do with power.
oh yes. So, what does building communities mean to you, and how does that show up in your sets or your work?
Man, so that I have that as a part of my like my personal purpose. Like building community is everything to me. It shows up like in work in terms of like why I built StageWing, and like I was saying, like I love being able to support people on both sides of that transaction. Like there's a DJ who's in need of equipment who could use a helping hand or some support, whether they're traveling or they're local, or like an event planner who's needing of some equipment to make their event the best that it could be. And then there's a person who has equipment, you know, that could use some extra income, you know, or who could use some visibility, or some
Mhm.
extra business. So I love being able to connect people, make intros, support folks. And so that's always been who I have been prior to StageWing, being able to just connect folks to help out each other. And I think, what is it? They say it takes a village to raise a child. That's a African proverb. But also say that you can go further when you go together versus when you go alone.
Oh. Mm.
Yeah, I mean, collaboration over competition any day and every day. So community is like how I see and how I know I have been able to be successful. Like, I'll just be real, and I'll kind of flex just a little bit, but I really haven't done much marketing as a DJ, and I've been able to be in this game for this long. And I know it's because of my community. People refer me. People talk about me in rooms where I'm not in those rooms. People are sharing my contacts, sending out things to people. They're reposting me. Like, those are all the things that help make me who I am. I'm not doing it just off of the strength that I'm just this great marketer for myself. I am not at all. Like, I'm very bad at it, for myself. But I think, it's been because of the community. And so I live and die by community. Like, I really feel like, community is the way that we can all succeed and all kind of level up, that's how it shows up for me in my work and then in my sets. I've been able to like get some of the best songs from friends, like, oh, let me get that edit from you. Like, be able to share, really good tips and tricks and techniques, and even share gigs, when I can't do something, I'm able to, bless somebody else and they do the same for me. So, yeah, man, like community is really everything. Like, I don't know why people think that they could be on this earth alone. We were not meant to be solo dolos just walking out here like I'm doing it all, self-made type people. Like, it takes a village for everything that we do in life to be able to like level up.
Yeah. Friend told me it takes 6 people to take you to the grave.
Oh, dang, that's deep, but it's real. That is so real.
Yeah, you trying to do everything by yourself, and we still got to take you
We still got to take you down.
as a team.
Wow.
But no, I agree with everything that you're saying. And I think one thing that I would say why those things are happening for you, because I think it's just it's a reflection of who you are, and
Thank you.
who you choose to be.
Thank you.
And that's a good thing, because I think if people are not talking about what we do in a positive way, then we need to do a self-evaluation. Something is wrong. If just think about it from this perspective. If you're not getting work from word of mouth, what kind of work are you doing?
Mm.
Yeah. And I'll leave.
Mike's drop on that.
I'll leave. So
Yep, calling a spade right there.
yeah. Yeah. But it is what it is. Just think about that.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
If it happens for you all the time and there's someone that is not, then hey, check your report card. You're failing. Something is wrong.
Yeah.
And it's nothing. The bad thing is when we can't do that and we won't do that and we continue to lie to ourselves and tell ourselves that we're better than what we are.
Yeah.
That's the real crime.
Yeah. Yeah. The denial, the delusion part.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, in terms of being able to, business is all about relationships. And so, you want to be able to be in this, and I know beyond just being a creative, but, you want to be able to share your art with people. There's people involved in that equation, at some point. Yeah. So you got to be able to tap in with community. Like, you can't just not exist or exist in silo and think that it's going to pop off for you.
It's not. So with that said about business,
Yeah.
what does building community? Oh, no, wrong question. Let's talk about business, the business side. So what lessons have you learned about entrepreneurship through DJing and StageWing?
Ooh. So, I mean, community was always something that's been a part of me. So I knew that that was going to be how I show up in business. Um, and the way that I am an entrepreneur for myself as a DJ. But other lessons that I've learned in terms of it is like sleep is important. I'm still learning that. you know, like,
Mm.
you know, there is a thing called burnout, and it will completely drop you all the way down. Like if you're not eating healthy and taking care of your body and things like that, it'll take you for a minute. Like you'll be able to survive maybe a good 10, maybe even 10 years. But after a while, like I started noticing like stuff was like not adding up for me, and I was getting really foggy. And so like being able to like create balance for yourself, taking care of your mental health, your emotional well-being, all of that is important, not just like the
Oh,
physical
man.
stuff. uh,
It's so important. It's so overlooked.
it really
And we, they had this proverb, "Know thyself." It's
mm,
very important. You know,
yeah,
no, that's so overlooked. Yeah.
yeah, it truly is.
Mm.
And you can't really show up for your business if you're in a hospital
Mhm.
bed.
Oh,
Let's just be real. I'm gonna
hey,
go all the way there.
yeah.
Like, so you can't be the greatest DJ, on festival stages and things like that if you're in a hospital bed. So that's hella important when it comes to like the business side of things. Um, Also, like systems and processes are very important. You like to have systems in place.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I've also learned in terms of like when first get into it. When you're a bright-eyed DJ, you're ready to just hop on every turntable and things like that. I want to get put on. I want to get put on. I want to get put on. I don't care if I'm not making a good amount of money and things like that. But you gotta have systems in place to be able to like run a business. Like, yes, you are creative, and yes, you're out here just sharing your beats with the world, but you're supposed to get paid for that, and so when you do, like, your customers are going to expect a certain level of professionalism. And so there are a lot of DJs that I come across who don't really get that part just yet, and so I know that that's a lot of times why they get overlooked
Hmm.
for gigs and things like that, like especially for the corporate gigs, is because they haven't taken the time to like invest into like some proper protocols and like booking contracts and writers and things like that. So and having the right processes in place to be able to respond when the call comes. So um, I would say like those are some of the things that I've also learned through entrepreneurship and DJing, like to make sure that that stuff is in place, that you're ready to receive the things that you want and those gigs that you want.
Mm. Okay. So I know this is a good one for you. So you mentioned music being like gumbo. So what are your key ingredients for creating a mix that truly moves people?
Ooh, key ingredient. It gotta have a little spice to it, right? it cannot You cannot have gumbo and it cannot be a bland gumbo. Okay, let's just talk about that. So adding in some mixtures, in terms of things that are kind of like, oh, I wasn't expecting you to bring in that, but it sounds good, some
Hmm.
surprise there. I think also helps move people. It energizes people, or some that they haven't heard in quite some time. Like you can play like the bangers for whatever
Hmm.
time period that you or whatever demographic that you're playing to, but it also like hit them on a curveball every so often. I think that was what keeps people like excited about creating a mix. Um, let's see some other things that could be fun. Um, I mean, that's truly like, I think that's really what really keeps people on their toes. And then just hearing things in ways like you don't always have to do mashups and mixes, that in mixes, mashups in mixes. But just something that just keeps it fun and upbeat. I think is what really moves people. They get energized and excited about your mixes.
Yeah. And I guess this is another thing that you have to say too. You have to be excited about your mix.
Big fact.
Your energy got to be
Right.
right.
You gotta be willing to actually eat your own gumbo, okay? Let's
Yes.
talk about that.
Yes.
That's
So
it. Yep, that's true. Yeah.
yeah, so that
Point.
I think that makes a big difference as well, just because your energy travels.
Yes.
You know, just
Yeah.
like that mix, it'll travel. Your energy is right along,
It's
right
right in it.
side by side with it. So,
That's it. Yeah. Yeah. You gotta be willing to listen to it and then vibe with it too. Yep.
oh yes, oh yes. So, my last question: what message do you hope people walk away after hearing your story and experience your sound?
Oh. Um, depending I want to always like elevate folks. I want to raise their energy levels or like their vibration. So
Mhm.
I'm all about spreading joy, and so, you know, depending on whatever it is, like I know like people may come into a room with whatever they
Mhm.
had on their minds and things like that, but I would love to like when they walk away from that, be like, man, that was really good. Like I was able, like I don't feel like the same heavy person I was when I walked in the room. Like I feel lighter, or I feel, like for a moment I didn't even remember that what was going on outside was, what it is, you
Oh
know.
yes.
Yeah, I think I want people to just feel lighter. I want them to walk away a little more joy in their step, after hearing me and experiencing it. Like it's truly what it is. Like I know music is a powerful, powerful, powerful tool, and I don't. I hope every DJ knows that they're we call them alchemists, but like they're people who have power to be able to change vibrations and be able to move people in a different way.
Yes.
So why not inspire them to do good in the world once you leave, and feel better in the world once they leave you than, the opposite. So that's my.
Totally agree. Totally agree. And I learned that I don't know if I'll say the hard way, but I learned how music really just influences people.
Yeah.
How much power it has over people.
Yeah.
Um, and just being behind those tables or the boot, whatever you want to call it, and seeing how people act when you play certain things
Huh?
and how they go from sad to happy to sad again to confused, all of these
Yeah.
different emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Music does that
Yep. It
because
really.
it has events attached to it, history.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It does. It does. Yeah. It's a beautiful, but also very like sacred and, emotionally charged
Mm.
thing. So yeah, just use it and use it to your best ability to like take people out of one thing and move them into something else.
Mm. Well, Sid, it was really fun. I hope it
Mm.
was great for you as it was for me, uh,
Yeah.
being able to sit down and just kind of pick your brain.
Thank
Yes.
you. No, I really appreciate y'all having me. Like seriously, Mike, this has been really cool.
Oh, yes.
Me and you could talk all day long offline any day that we usually
Oh,
chat.
yes.
But I'm really glad I got a chance to be on the show, and thank you for having me for sure.
Oh, it was an honor. It was an honor. And I look forward to following up and we'll get on again with you. But uh, we love what you're doing. Please continue to be a light in a dark room,
Thank you.
uh, and keep, mixing up the gumbo and giving it to them, you know,
Absolutely, man.
bowl by bowl, pot by pot, you know. So,
Absolutely. And I'll see you at the show for sure in August.
oh, yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
You'll see. Yeah, we'll be there.
All
Yeah.
right. That sounds good. Well, thank you
Okay,
again.
well, you enjoy yourself, and we thank you guys for listening to another installment of two DJs and one mic. Y'all enjoy the rest of your evening. And thank you again, Sid.
All right. Have a good one.
You too. Peace.